My wife had always been close with her sisters, so when she told me she was going away for a few days on a sister's trip, I didn't think much of it. She said they wanted some time together, maybe a little getaway, just the two of them. I smiled and nodded, trying not to look disappointed. Of course, I wanted her to enjoy herself. She deserved a break. We had been married for 6 years, and though we had our ups and downs, I believed we were solid. I believed I could trust her. She packed her bag carefully, humming as she folded her clothes. I helped her carry the suitcase to the car, kissed her goodbye, and told her to have fun. She promised she would call me when she got there. I stood on the driveway watching her leave, never imagining that trip would change everything I thought I knew about my marriage. The first day went by normally. She sent me a couple of messages, even a picture of her and her sister smiling in what looked like a restaurant. She said they were catching up, relaxing, and enjoying the change of scenery. I smiled at the photo, relieved, and went about my day, but something about the following day felt off. She didn't message me as much. When I called, she answered, but her responses were short, distracted, almost like she wanted to end the call quickly. She told me she and her sister were out shopping, that her phone battery was low, that she'd talk later. I brushed it off at first. After all, she was with her sister, and I didn't want to seem controlling. But deep down, a small knot of unease began to twist inside me. On the third day, something happened that I still can't explain, almost as if fate was pushing me toward the truth. I had to drive to the city where she said she was staying for a work errand. It wasn't planned, it just came up. I told myself I wouldn't bother her, that I'd get my work done and head back home. But when I passed by a familiar hotel in the area, something strange caught my eye. There she was, my wife, stepping out of the hotel entrance, but she wasn't alone. Walking beside her was a man I had never seen before. Tall, confident, with his hand brushing against hers, as though they had been walking together for a long time. My heart stopped. I froze in my car, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. At first, I tried to rationalize. Maybe it was someone she and her sister knew. Maybe they had run into a friend. But then I saw her laugh, really laugh, the way she used to laugh with me when we first started dating. And in that instant, I knew this wasn't innocent. I pulled my car over quickly, far enough away so she wouldn't notice me. My pulse was pounding, my mind racing. She had told me she was spending time with her sister. But now I was watching her walk out of a hotel with another man. They didn't notice me. They kept walking, talking quietly, before he opened the door of his car for her. She got inside like it was the most natural thing in the world. My stomach churned. It felt like I had been punched, like the air had been sucked from my lungs. I followed them. I told myself I needed answers. My mind screamed at me to look away, to turn back, but my heart refused. I had to know. They drove across the city and parked at a quiet cafe. I watched from my car as they sat across from each other, leaning close, smiling, holding hands on the table. Every gesture confirmed my worst fears. This wasn't her sister's trip. This was something else entirely. I sat there for hours, watching them, my thoughts twisted into knots. How long had this been going on? Who was this man? Was this just a fling or something deeper? Questions I didn't want to ask flooded my mind, but I couldn't stop them. When they finally left, I followed. Again, back to the hotel. She walked beside him, her body leaning toward his, like they had done this countless times before. When they reached the hotel entrance, he pulled her close and kissed her. She didn't resist. She kissed him back. That was the moment my world cracked. The love, the trust, the years we had built together, everything shattered in front of me. I wanted to confront her right then, to scream, to demand answers, but something inside me told me to wait, to see how far this went, to gather proof, because if I confronted her now, she would deny it, twist it, maybe even make me feel like I was imagining things. I drove home that night with tears burning in my eyes. I barely slept. My mind replayed the image of her laughing, kissing him, walking into that hotel under his arm. My chest ached with betrayal, but also with something darker suspicion the next morning. When she finally came home, she smiled at me like nothing had happened. She kissed me on the cheek and told me the trip was fun, that her sister was doing well. She unpacked her bag, humming softly, while I sat there numb, watching her every move. She lied so easily, so smoothly, like it was second nature. I wanted to believe it was just one mistake, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. People don't check into hotels under fake names for one mistake. They don't spend days with someone else, lying with every word, unless it's something bigger, something they've done before. I decided to investigate. Quietly, carefully. I couldn't tell anyone. Not yet. Over the next weeks, I noticed the patterns. She would leave the house for errands that took too long. She smiled at her phone more often, turning the screen away when I walked by. She grew distant in bed, always tired, always distracted. And the more I paid attention, the more I realized how skilled she was at deception. She had probably been hiding this for months, maybe years. One night, while she was asleep, I checked her purse. I found a hotel key card tucked into a pocket. My hands trembled as I held it. She hadn't even bothered to throw it away. That was when the reality hit me fully. This wasn't just a fling. She had a secret life, one I wasn't supposed to know about. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the acts she put on every single day, looking at me with those eyes, pretending nothing was wrong. Pretending she still loved me, while in reality, she was slipping away into someone else's arms. I never confronted her immediately. I carried the weight of what I knew. The images burned into my mind, the lies piling higher each day. But I started preparing myself. I started keeping records, photos, notes, evidence. Because when the time came, I wanted the truth to be undeniable. Eventually, that moment did come. The day I finally sat across from her and told her I knew everything, she froze. At first, she tried to deny it. She claimed I was imagining things, that she had just been helping a friend. But when I laid out the truth, the hotel sightings, the key card, the pictures, her face changed. The mask slipped. She realized there was no escaping Dot. She broke down, tears spilling, begging for forgiveness, swearing it was a mistake. But I knew better. You don't check into hotels with fake names for mistakes. You don't spend days away under lies for mistakes. What she had was more than an affair. It was a choice, repeated again and again. That night, I realized something I'll never forget. Betrayal doesn't just come from the act itself. It comes from the lies that pile up, from the false smiles, from the person you trust most becoming a stranger before your very eyes. And as I sat there, listening to her sobs, I knew everything was over. Our marriage wasn't just cracked, it was finished, because once trust is gone, it never truly comes back.